Hello, my loves. If you guys can start double tapping that screen and let me know where you're watching from, that will help me get it pushed out to the FYP. And we will start doing readings after I do my intro when we hit a certain number. So my magic number is 10. When I get 10 people on, I'll do my intro and we can start doing readings. So all the help you guys can do to help me get there is awesome. Liking it, sharing it, tell me where you're living, where you're at, where you at, how you're feeling. We are in the thick of the eclipse energy too, so how are you doing? Nope, nope, nope. Maryland, nice. How's the weather in Maryland right now? What are they barking at? Yesterday was hot. Yeah, it's in the high 80s here in Texas, but we have severe thunderstorms rolling in this evening. Supposed to hit record highs today. I love Texas. It's one of my favorite places. When I was a nomad, I went through 28 states, and no matter where I went, I was always called back to Texas. I would just feel it, and then I would see Texas license plates everywhere. Everybody talked about it. It just consumed me until I decided to stop traveling and just stay here. And there isn't just one place in Texas. Like, no, Sadie, go lay down. Go lay down. It was really hard to pick a place to live, and where I am now won't be where I stay, but there's so many beautiful places in Texas, and it's like nowhere I've ever lived. People here love their state like it's a country. Texas might as well be its own country. It's the second most printed flag next to the United States flag. They have Texas edition vehicles. They make everything in shapes of Texas. They have their own pledge. It's literally like its own country. So we're gonna give it a little bit of time. See if we can get some people on. Feels a bit like Groundhog Day in Maryland. That's a bummer. For all of you that are just hopping on, if you could tap that screen and let me know where you're watching from and help me get this pushed out to the FYP. And as soon as we hit 10 people, that's when I will do my intro and we can start doing readings. Arizona, Tennessee. I will start doing readings as soon as I hit 10 people live. So you can help that by sharing, liking, commenting. Let me know how you guys are feeling too, because we are in the most intense few days of the eclipse energy. I'm feeling awful and scared, uneasy. I'm sorry you're feeling scared. What are you feeling scared about? There's so much uncertainty right now. There's so much ominous energy. All we can do is feel it. Don't resist it. Don't react to it. It's in the resistance and the reaction to it that the suffering is created. So you want to do your very best to surrender to the feelings. And even though they're not comfortable, recognize they're just sensations in your body. I lost my job back in January and still haven't found a new one and running out of money. I understand that. What I want to tell you is I'm going to tell you this. You have to be a bit delusional. You have to have faith in something that's not seen, right? Faith and fear both require you to believe in something that you can't see. You cannot focus on the lack. You cannot focus on what's missing because the universe only knows yes. So if you're focused on lack, it's going to give you more lack. You have to focus on and find the tiniest things to feel abundant about and grateful about. Something that the guides have said is abundance is our natural state. We are always in abundance, even though sometimes it's an abundance of lack. You have to change your focus of what is abundant in your life. Are you going to focus on the abundance of lack or the abundance of free time? The abundance of your ability to create something or to use that time to do something that changes your frequency into something that's higher. Now, this is all coming from hindsight and the guides helping me because in 22, I was doing really well. My business was successful. I was a couple of years out of a divorce, and out of nowhere, I launched my last book, and a month later, I lost everything. And I'm not kidding when I say that. I had to take 2 months, and I was so in the negative that I had to ask churches to pay my rent and utilities. And I had to get on government assistance for food. And I got forced to become a nomad. And I made enough money in my business to be able to have gas and to get the little things that I needed. And I used house sitting apps, and I car camped, and I traveled for 2.5 years through 28 states. And what I'll tell you is you don't need money to do most things, honestly. I didn't travel, I didn't do all the things that I wanted to do when I had all the money. And then when I didn't have all the money, I ended up doing all the things that I thought I needed the money to do. I just believed, I just started trusting. I had to face my survival fears to the point to where I thought I wasn't going to exist. And when I faced those, everything else became easy. And I just trusted that money would show up, or what I needed, a house would show up. And I had the most amazing experiences. And to this day, when I am faced with lack, I have to remember to shift my frequency and to find the tiniest things and remember that abundance is everything, even if it's abundance of lack. So I don't know if that helps you, but it will shift you and it will change everything for you if you can find a way to implement that into your life. You're very welcome. There's going to be a lot of my story in my next book, but it's going to be a while before that's out. But I wish someone would have told me that when I was going through it. So I'm really glad that you were here, and I'm really glad that you got to hear it. And sometime tomorrow, this video that we're live on right now will be live on YouTube under my TikTok replay thread. So if you need to go back and hear it over and over again, you can. So we're going to start doing readings once I hit about 10 people. So the more you guys can engage with this video, the faster it will get pushed out, and then we can start doing readings. I'll do my little intro spiel. And in the meantime, you guys can ask general questions about the healing journey, about the energy that we're currently in. You can share your testimony of what you're going through, just as this gentleman just did. So I'm here to help and to be of service for a few hours, not just to do readings. So take advantage of this opportunity the best that you can. So how did the story end? In 2024, I was in Michigan at my best friend's house. I had no money in my bank account, and I was tired of going through the feast and famine cycles. And I had nothing to do with my day, right? I wasn't seeing clients. I wasn't in the mood to write, even though I knew I needed to be writing my next book. So I did what I always do. I went back to a structure that I talk about in my other book, Holy Grail, called 40 Days. And for 40 days, I decided to reprogram my brain. I called it a hard reset. And for 6+ hours a day, and then all while I was sleeping, I was listening to 4 new beliefs that I wanted to program inside of me. I had a massive ego death. And before I even moved out of those 40 days, I was already making money again, and everything inside of me was shifting. Within a month, I was back well into the positive. And by June of that year, so that was January, by June of that year, I had manifested everything that I wanted. I exceeded the income goal that I wanted. I exceeded the number of clients I wanted. I had ended my nomad journey and had moved to Texas permanently. I had lost more inches off of my body. It wasn't about a number anymore. It was about being fit and feeling a certain way, and I achieved that. And then even a month and a half after that, I met the most amazing man. Though the relationship didn't stick, it was the most amazing experience. I found my flow. I found my authentic voice. I found the space where I could be free, without worry, without stress, without anxiety. I had mastered detaching. And since then, I've had a few ups and downs at the end of last year, but that's to be expected, because once we hit our limits of those belief systems that we created, we have to break those limits. And when we break those limits, a lot of things in our life break. And so I'm still living in Texas. Right now, I'm actually, I dog sit for money occasionally, and it gives me the ability to still travel locally in different parts of Texas. So I'm currently lakefront on a beautiful property, doing what I would normally do at my house, working, and getting to play with puppies, because I can't have a dog where I live. So I've just had, the past year and a half has just been the most beautiful experiences. I've been to amazing places, I've met amazing people, and I see my life with so much more appreciation and gratitude, even if things aren't going as I want them to. I know that's happening for me, and I don't react the way that I used to. I just kind of let things roll and flow, and it's a much nicer way to live. Thank you. Having a rough day, Julie? So right now I'm in the process. I just finished. Oh, and I finished my next book. So I finished writing my next book. Now I'm editing it. So today I started with the editing process and doing some rewrites. So for 2 hours a day, I've made the commitment at least 4 days a week to do editing, to try to get through the first few rounds of edits before I submit my book for a book deal. Just literally filtering almost every comment. This eclipse is wild. I feel like everyone's having a rough day. Yeah, it is wild. It is definitely wild. It's super intense. And you don't think all of that was a learning lesson so that you could cope with times ahead? Oh, I definitely do. In fact, I know my guides told me the reason why you're here is to master uncertainty, because we're going to come into a time where everything is going to be uncertain, even though it always is anyway. The external reality is always uncertain. There's never certainty. It's always fake. Your job that you have, your W-2 job, your husband, your house, your wife, everything, that is all, can all be taken away the next day. So nothing outside of you is really certain, but it was the feeling of uncertainty with the times ahead where it was going to be a very stark reality for people. And I needed to master that, because that's how my life has kind of been. I've always learned things ahead of time, and then within a year or two, everybody seemed to be going through the same thing. And I would be there to support them and guide them through. So it's always for a reason. It's always on purpose. Okay. Feeling exhausted, that's normal to feel. This energy is going to be felt in the mental health and the physical health. So your bones, your exhaustion, you could be sick, you could just be having a lot of negative thoughts, all of those things. Yeah, and I did that, and I talk about that in my next book, of how I created certainty inside of me and was able to anchor that certainty inside of me while everything around me was uncertain. So I'll be sharing that. I'll be sharing clips of my book as I go along. I have felt that way too, going through things and have everyone else going through it after. Yep. And those, like I said, a lot of times this is why it's so important for you to recognize that, because you're meant to share things with the world, right? So I'm meant to be someone who's out there sharing my story, sharing my teachings. And I know that when I go through it, there's a purpose in it, you know? I got so sick last Sunday, and I'm just now starting to feel better. Well, that's good. I'm glad you're coming out of it. Okay, so we have hit the magic number. We've passed that magic number. So for those of you who are new to me, I'm Johanna Burkhardt. I am a multidimensional channel, teacher, healer, and author, and my mission is to help you to be the change you want to see so that you can create the reality that you are desiring, and we can do that best through learning to master shifting our frequency. Again, fear and faith both require you to believe in something that you can't see, and you have to learn in every moment to shift your internal frequency, because your frequency is what is going to be matched in your outward reality. And so that's what I do in session and mentorship. That's my main focus, but I also work with spiritual development and helping women open their and men open their intuition, step into their mission work, step into working with their gifts, things like that. When I come on here live, what I tend to do is just do more traditional readings. to let people get a taste of how I read, how I work with people, and to be of service. So today we're going to do free yes and no's to who I am called to. And it's only one per person. If you would like a mini read from your guides, whether you have a specific question you want answered or you just want a general read, those are mini reads. Those are by donation. The donation is $15 or more. I prefer Venmo or Cash App, but PayPal is also linked. It's all in my tip jar in my bio. If you do donate for a mini read, please let me know that you donated and where. I will need your first and last name, so make sure your account has it or you put it in the comments. And then I will prioritize you, of course. And then you can always ask general questions. I hear you, Sadie. You can always ask general questions, again, about the healing, about the energy, about something you're struggling with, and I will do my best to be of service and help you through it. Okay. Let go. Hold on one second. I can't do this right now. I'm busy. I'm working. They always want your attention when you're not doing it. Okay. Yes. And then, of course, I'm not doing today. Today there's no mediumship. There's no medical. There's no legal. If you do a mini read and a loved one shows up, I will bring them through, but I am not taking donations for straight mediumship readings. Okay. So let's see. I know. Should I date Jeffrey? If you want to. I feel like I feel like that's a karmic relationship, so there's definitely lessons to be learned. Will I find love? Yes, love is all around you. Yes, you're gonna find a job, but it's not. Look outside the box of what you normally would do and start to focus on something that brings you joy, something that isn't something that you would normally do or think you're qualified to even do. I also think, though, that I'm going to give you a little more. I think that I feel like there's something you are going to create on your own in this time between. But I do feel you're still going to get a job because you are going to have to work through believing in yourself, because when you start creating something, that's a whole nother level that we enter into, because we're no longer selling a product, we're selling ourselves. We're no longer working for someone else, we're selling ourselves, and we have to really have strong self-worth and belief to do that. So just know that yes, you're going to get another job, but you're also going to create something of your own. Is new love coming soon? Yes, in the next 3 months or so. So should I move? No. Oh, you've been already trying to come up with business ideas? Don't think of it so much as something to make money off of, okay? Because that you're doing something for the outcome. Instead, think about something that you would love to create that also is a need that needs to be fulfilled. So think about something that you're passionate about, something that you see a need in the world that you might have something to contribute to. Hey, stop it. These dogs are gonna irritate me today because they know I'm busy. Good, perfect. See? That just says that you're on the right path. Me telling you that, that's just reaffirming you're on the path. So focus all of your energy there, okay? Don't focus on what you don't have. Focus on what you can create with that energy. I walked you today even. Why are we, I don't want to do this whole time. Okay. I've been wanting a reading and have been waiting for the right person because I wanted to make. Well, I'm glad that you found me today. You're driving for Lyft. Okay, good. Okay, we have someone who, Michelle, she did a Venmo reading. Okay, we got you. I have to do things. I am not, my other people need me too, Sadie. Okay. Okay, Michelle, do you have a specific question you want guidance around? If so, drop it. Otherwise, you can say general and I can just see what comes through. You can just go to the link in my bio and it'll say tip jar, and then you can hit Venmo or Cash App. Okay, Michelle. Michelle, can you give me your spouse's, just his first name? Okay. All right. If anybody's wanting to put in the free yes or no's, just pause for a moment. I won't see them because I'm going to do Michelle's reading. So Michelle, it feels like that you have changed, or your perception on life has changed, your perception of yourself has changed, and it feels like that your spouse has, and maybe just through your eyes, but your spouse has kind of stayed the same. There hasn't been a lot of growth or change. And I feel like your soul contract is expiring. So to answer your question, yes. I think that it would be the most conscious, expanding, healing thing that you could do for both of you. I don't feel like there's a lot of happiness there. I feel like almost like I feel stuck or trapped, or like, is this all there is? I feel like it didn't have to be this way, and of course it doesn't necessarily have to be that way. When a contract ends, people can choose to shift and grow together and begin again. But it requires some really honest, vulnerable conversation about what your needs are now and what his needs are, and if you guys are able to meet them. Oftentimes what happens is it's not until we leave that we are free of the enmeshment and the entanglement of each other's energies to find ourselves clearly, because we lose ourselves oftentimes in relationships. And so you might need some space if it's something that you're not wanting to completely walk away from. But I feel like if you stayed and you didn't have that conversation, this would probably end very badly on its own anyway. So at the very least, it is time for you to have an honest, vulnerable conversation with each other about where you really are and what you really need. And see if it's something that you guys can shift and change. And if not, at least you know you came to the table and you said, hey, this is what I need now. This is what's shifted and changed for me. What has shifted and changed for you? What do you need? And are we still compatible? Because we don't have to have these gnarly knockdown, drag out divorces like we've had in the past. We can have conscious reconciliation. We can have conscious divorce, conscious separation, and realize that what's happening is for both of you. But I feel like they make me feel like for him especially, there's just like this dark cloud over him or within him that's kind of had him lose a little bit of luster for life. And maybe you're taking that personally, I'm not sure. Or wondering how you can, shift or carry that energy. But yes, I would say it's time to sit down and have that conversation for sure. Let me look at my page here real quick. So when you click on the link, if you click on my page, you're gonna have to hey, that's enough. If you click on my picture and then click on it again, you should see my bio, and there should be a link underneath the bio. When you click on that, the first thing you'll see is quick links, and you'll see the tip jar. Do you have any questions about what we have said, Michelle? Are you with me? That resonates. We have had conversations about it. Have you had the conversations, though, that are really laying out what the needs are? Well, and that's the inner conflict. So the reason why you're struggling is because there's an inner conflict, because you feel, here's the thing. I actually did a podcast about this once. When someone doesn't cheat, or when they aren't abusive, or when they don't do something that is like warranted to leave, we struggle with leaving. We struggle with choosing ourselves and walking away. When we feel guilty, like we should stay. Sometimes there's even societal or religious programming that you're not supposed to get divorced, that you're supposed to stay and work it out and struggle. And so you have to ask yourself, what are you afraid is going to happen? Are you afraid that it's not going to work out for you? Are you afraid that financially or otherwise you're going to struggle? Are you afraid of judgment? There's a fear standing in your way of choosing what is best for you. And I think it's important for you to address that. But in the conversations that you've had, if you have not sat down and discussed what your needs are now and who you are now and what his needs are and who he is now, that is something that you should do. I think it will solidify inside of you that you have tried and you've done your best to make it work, and to see that you're truly two people who aren't compatible and that should have the ability to be free and to find happiness. Women emotionally leave years before they physically leave. And so you have probably already emotionally left, but you're just a shell there holding on. Yeah, I don't blame you, but that's why it's important for you to figure out what your needs are. And you can look at your spouse and say, what would you, if he was the perfect spouse, how would he be? How would he show up every day for you? And if you were the perfect spouse to him, and perfect is, we use loosely here, how would you show up? How do you want to feel? These are things you need to ask yourself, because it's going to help you get clear. Because leaving him isn't just going to automatically make that clear. You're just going to be without him, still a little lost and confused of not knowing what your needs are, and then you're going to call in another person that's going to reflect that back to you. So while you're still together, take this opportunity to get really clear about what it is that you want to feel, what you want your relationship to look like, and see what's lacking. You also have to take responsibility for how you're showing up and what you're not doing. And maybe it's because you don't feel safe to do it. So if you can get clear, it doesn't matter if he can't get clear. You need to be able to articulate to him who you are and what your needs are and what you want to feel. And maybe that will help trigger something in him to understand where he is and what he needs. And when I did this with my ex-husband, I told him, and then I gave him a couple of days. I said, think about it and come back to me. Because we split up, and then we were still living together, and I said, I went away for a week, and I came back and I said, this is where I am, and this is what I need, and this is what I'm looking for. And I said, what is it that you need? He said, I don't know. I said, what is it that you want? He said, I don't know. And I said, well, take a few days, figure it out, and come back to me. And he did. And when he came back to me, he said, you're right, we're not compatible anymore. And we separated. But we did so from a place of peace because we both were honest with ourselves. And someone has to start that train, so it might as well be you. Yeah. Judgment and finances are always big ones. But you have to believe in yourself, okay? Believe in yourself. Believe that it will all work out. So this is another thing, right? It's being able to stand in your power. Yes, I emotionally enough. Now it's so hard to imagine making it work. Right, exactly. You're so welcome. If anybody's having trouble looking for it, you just have to click. My picture should be somewhere on here. I don't know what it looks like for you guys, but if you click on it and then you click on it again, you should see my profile. So you should see my name, my little spiel. It's like 2 sentences, and then there'll be a link, and then you'll see there's Instagram and Lemon8. So it's hitting that link. And I do offer, if you've never had a session with me, a 60-minute first-time rate. First-time rate under Quantum Soul Sessions, under sessions, is only $99. So if you've never had a session with me and you want 60 minutes with me, that's a really good place to start. You're very welcome, Michelle. I wish you all the best. And yeah, it's a Podia link. My platform's called Podia. I wish you all the best, and I'm sending you so much love and healing. And I can tell you, I've been married 3 times. When I left my third husband, let me just say it like this. When he found me, when I found him, I was in peace and I had a lot of money. When I left him, I was in pieces and I was broke. I started over with nothing. I walked out of my house. I gave him everything. Everything. I took my desk and my clothes and I started over on my own. It was one of the hardest things I've done, other than my nomad journey. I promise you, you can do it. But it's going to require you to believe in yourself. I have Cash App and I have Zelle. There's a whole bunch of things comments I didn't approve. Stop it! These dogs. Ruby, why do you want Jazz to unblock you? If someone's blocking you, they don't want to be with you. Let them go. Don't chase them. My Cash App, let me just give you my Cash App name. Do I even have all this open? Let me look it up. So my Venmo is at Johanna_Burkhardt, or my Cash App is Soul Shaman, so SOULSHAMAN. I'm in a blue dress. I also have PayPal. Yeah, it's all in my link in my bio under tip jar. He doesn't want you, let him go. And here's the thing. If you're on here asking me relationship questions, will he come back to me? Will he call me? Does he miss me? Go listen to today's podcast on Cosmic Blonde. Cosmic Blonde is linked in my profile, and same with all the other links. Go listen to today's podcast. I promise you it will change everything for you. Do not chase men. Do not pine over them. And same for guys with women. Don't do it. Don't do it. It just is showing you where your lack of self-worth is. It's also showing you where you have childhood programming locked in your nervous system, because it's not them that you want. It has everything to do with your childhood, and it's nothing to do with the man or woman that's in front of you. I am answering one for yes or no per person that I feel called to. What do you mean, Kristen? It's the safety. Okay, we have a Cash App. Well, it'll eventually come through. Spider 413 username. I do not have an answer for you. That's why I haven't answered it. Why you stay after they don't want you? Sometimes, everybody's different. There can be a million reasons for that. You stay because you don't want to, because you feel like that's what you deserve, or you're unworthy of something better. All of these things were set in your childhood programming. So when you're chasing after someone, when you're like, will they choose me? Will they come back to me? Will they unblock me? You're wanting to be chosen. You're wanting to be picked. You're wanting to be loved. You had some type of neglect or abandonment or rejection from your parents, and you're trying to reconcile that with every man or woman that comes into your life, especially ones that you are so attracted to that it's almost like a drug, where you're checking your texts, when you're checking their social media, where you're like it's like a drug. It's like an addiction. That's called limerence, and it's in your nervous system. It has nothing to do with them. Nothing. So if that sounds like you, and you're just wanting that person back so badly, you need to really look at who you really want back, because I guarantee you it has nothing to do with the person at hand. Waiting for the Cash App to come through. I saw it on my text, but I haven't seen it hit my account. Maybe it was Venmo. It was Venmo, never mind, that's why. Okay, Desi, do you have a question that you want, or do you want a general? General, she already wrote it, never mind. Okay. Venmo sent. There we go. Okay, this is going to be, if you guys want to hold off on the yes or no's, I'm going to do Desi's reading. And then I see a PayPal has come in as well, so we'll do the PayPal next. see or hear me belch, I'm clearing your energy, so please drink lemon water. I am a physical medium, so I transmute for other people. Busy, there is lately, probably over the last few weeks, probably even maybe few months, there's been a lot of energy coming in. I feel like you're going to understand this, even though I'm not sure where you are on your journey. A lot of energy coming in as stuff being seeded in your consciousness. A lot of activations is what we would call them, that will unfold at different times. You might be experiencing ascension symptoms with that because of the amount of light that's being poured into you. So that can come in as a headache or a dull headache across. It can cause pain and pressure behind the eyes, tingles on the head. There's a lot of third eye activations. There's a lot of changes in your perception and expansion of your awareness. But I keep hearing frozen shoulder, frozen shoulder, frozen shoulder. I also feel like you have quite a bit of weight that you're carrying on your shoulder. Sometimes the sides can be reversed, but I'm picking up the frozen shoulder on, this would be my left, coming almost down from the neck all the way in. It's so incredibly tight. And that's pressure that you're putting on yourself. That's weight that you don't necessarily need to carry, because if it's heavy, it's not yours. If it's heavy, it's not yours. Hear me when I say that. That's your cue. When things are heavy and they're weighing on you, it's not yours to carry. Our stuff doesn't weigh anything necessarily. The things that are heavy inside of us are burdens that we have decided to carry, stories we've created that have a lot of weight to them, things that are not real. It's all an illusion, and you can set it all down. It's like you're waiting for permission to set it all down, they say. Like nobody else is gonna do it. Who's gonna take care of these things? Who's gonna worry about these things? It's not your job. It's not your job to do that. So set it all down. Let it all go. There's also this interesting energy they're showing me that's spiraling up and down your spine. Are you a healer? Do you do healing work? You are, okay. They keep saying codes. Like, I don't know if you already do or are going to be, because time is illusionary, so you could be already doing it, or it's something that could be coming. But I feel like you're going to be working with codes, and this is DNA work. This is ethereal DNA work, where you're going to be working with codes, language of light, sacred geometry, channeling frequencies, channeling ray technologies to really help people transmute the density, but also to reprogram their DNA. So how I call this is restructuring. So I'm certified in DNA activation and restructuring. And I offer that as a service, and I feel like you're gonna be doing something like that in a different way. It's gonna be your own thing that you create, but it starts with you, the same way it started with me. It's you reprogramming your own DNA. It's you restructuring your own DNA. it gets damaged, right? So I want you to think about, and I think why they keep bringing me back to the spine and the spiral is, I'm getting hot. The very first thing that's formed in utero is the spine, and that spine, the discs in the spine carry all of the lineage of your mom and dad. It's the ancestral line that gets put in there, and then as we develop as a child, that there's opportunities for those programmings to be played out in a new way to activate something that we chose on our journey to heal. But in that process, we can get a lot of damage to our ethereal DNA and to our physical carbon DNA as well. So I feel like a lot of things are happening inside of you and in your external reality to kind of help you to start to really work and be your own self-healer. You are your first client. You are your best client. And when you see progress in yourself and in your physical vessel and in your emotional and mental health, then you are going to prove to yourself that you can do this for somebody else. And it's going to be the greatest evidence that you have. I do feel like you're going to call in a new teacher or a new person to work with that's going to help you with learning some of this. I feel like there is some new guides that are higher dimensional, interdimensional beings that are going to be coming in to work with you as well. So I think that there's a lot that you have to look forward to. I would ask for you to increase your water intake and also your mineral intake. We hydrate through minerals, not through water. So this is upping your magnesium, your potassium, your amino acids, fulvic acid. So the supplements I take are linked in my Amazon. If you want to peek at that and see what you're drawn to. But water and minerals are conductors, and you have a lot of energy that's coursing through you. You're just not here to help other people, but you're an anchor for light and energy. And so that light and energy runs up and down your column of light, and it can drain you and deplete your minerals very quickly. So taking mineral supplements, eating mineral-rich food, drinking mineral water, all things that you want to be very conscious of on an everyday basis, that will help support all this energy that's moving through you and all the energy work that you're going to do, because again, those are conductors. So as you call on frequency, it taps into those things and helps as a conducting agent to help you move, and then obviously replenish you. You're so very welcome. Do you have any questions about anything that we've said that you might need clarity on? I'm going to make sure you're good. Okay, we had a PayPal too, so let me get that logged into. You're feeling the ascension symptoms, yeah. Water, hydration, minerals, salt baths, getting in nature, music, taking care of yourself. There's not a whole lot you can do for ascension symptoms other than just make it as nice, take care of yourself as best you can, and it will pass. The more you detox your body from seed oils and sugars and processed foods and detox your environment and the chemicals you use, it's a slow process, but the more you detox, the less ascension symptoms you have, because your body's literally moving from a carbon state to a crystalline state. That's what ascension means. Ascension is the body, evolution is the mind and the spirit, right? So your body's what's ascending, so you have to support the body. Okay, Charlene, you are up next, my love. Do you have a specific question, or would you like a general read? know why this thing is literally filtering most of my comments. It's super frustrating. Nicole, will I get the executive secretary job? Yes. Charlene, let me, I know, I'm sure there's a delay. General, okay, there you go. All right. I see you, but I am busy. Okay. All right, we're gonna connect to Charlene. Excuse me. Charlene, please drink lemon water today. I cleared a bunch of energy from you. Charlene, the minute I closed my eyes and connected to you, I saw and heard angels, like all around you, all around you. You have a very angelic presence, and you have a lot, you connect a lot with angels. Archangel Michael, Archangel Gabriel are two of probably the most prominent ones that are around you, which makes sense because Gabriel rules the throat, and you have some throat stuff going on. You're definitely going through what we would call a throat chakra upgrade. Speaking your truth, not being a people pleaser, like no more people pleasing, no more trying to always say the right thing. You need to speak your truth. You can do that with grace, you can do that with compassion. It doesn't have to be abrupt and rude, but it's time for you to stand up for you. It's time for you to speak your truth. It's time for you to not be timid anymore, to not need to be, I don't know, it gives me this feeling of like the good girl. I need to be the good girl. I need to be proper, or I need to say things right, or let's not make anybody mad. It's like that kind of vibe. And it's sometimes the things that are our truth trigger other people, and we need to remember that when we trigger other people, most of the time it's not intentional, but we can't interrupt their karma. You may have a soul contract with somebody, and that your part of your job may be in this moment when you start having some boundaries. When you have some boundaries, it's going to show you people's truth. It's going to show you who was using you, who has a lot of healing to do. And that is going to be sad in the moment. It's going to cause some maybe hurt or some grief. But you have to remember that it's not about you. It has nothing to do with you. What other people do and say are a reflection of themselves and where they are at internally. Has little to do with you, ever. And so again, other people's behavior or words are a reflection of them, not of you. And you don't have to take them personal. You don't have to put them inside of you. You don't have to feel shame or think that you're the problem or something's wrong with you. Do with love but authority. I want to know as well, what was Timothy's motive of being rude to me one day for no reason. That's just it. It's kind of just what we just said, right? It had nothing to do with you. There was no motive. People are just verbally projecting their pain out onto whoever will take it. And you don't have the best energetic boundaries. And so people can do that and you'll just kind of take it. It has nothing to do with you. There was no real motive. It's just a projection of their own pain. And it's an opportunity to practice boundaries and to say, I don't allow people to speak to me this way. Again, throat chakra, speaking up for yourself. It doesn't mean that you have to defend yourself or fight for yourself in that sense. It's like, hey, I don't know if I'm perceiving this as rude. And this doesn't feel good to me. I don't allow people to speak to me this way. I'm not sure if something's going on with you, but can we try to reframe this? Is this what you were meaning to say or meaning me to feel? It's about taking ownership and saying, this is how I feel. This is how I'm perceiving it. And this is what I will allow and what I won't allow. And this is part of what's going on with you right now. Again, coming back to that throat chakra and speaking up for yourself from that space of compassion and having boundaries, 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 boundaries. Super important for you right now. You also have a lot of fairies around you. I feel like you putting your hands on the earth is super healing. It's going to help bring you present. And that is something that you could use right now as well. So I don't know if you like to garden or if you've been... Oops, hold on. If you like to garden or have been wanting to garden, but gardening or just getting your hands in dirt, getting outside and touching the earth is something that will help you become more present, and it will help you to release all of the energies that you've been taking on that aren't meant for you. We're going to do a little more clearing. I think detoxing would also be a good thing for you to do. So try fasting. You can start out slow with one day, or start out with intermittent fasting and starting to eat later in the day. But we'd like you to get up to a space where you could water fast, lemon water fast for like 48 to 72 hours. Detoxing would be something that would be really good for your mental clarity. I don't know if you've lost a mom or a mother figure or a mother-in-law, someone that you deemed a mom. Those are all classified as moms. If there's a mother energy stepping forward, she kind of steps forward with the angelic realm. There's a lot of noise. Are you an overthinker? Your mom, okay. And the reason why that's important for you to know is because she wants you to know that she's there, you know? She's there with you. I have a feeling that you are clairaudient, because as I tap into you, it's like there's 4 or 5 radio stations playing at the same time. They're not really radio stations, but it's communication coming in. And I feel like it's just sometimes can be overstimulating or deafening inside of your head. Do you have that experience where it's like you want to escape the noise inside your head? Because what they're saying is that's your clairaudience. So yes, you can tune into the different aspects of you and the different thoughts of communication, right? Your ego, your inner child, and the angelic realm is speaking to you, your mom's speaking to you, your guides are speaking to you, other people's loved ones are speaking to you, and it's like, it's just so deafening. So learning how to hone in on your clairaudience will be something that is very helpful for you. Here's a tip that I want to give you. When you're listening to your thoughts, listen for the words we and you. When you hear we and you, that is somebody speaking to you. If you have something going on in your head and you're answering out loud to yourself, you're talking to someone else. If you're answering your own questions in your head, again, you're having a conversation with somebody else. A development trick is you can listen to music and try to isolate the guitar or the drums. It will help you, when you can master that, it will help you to isolate the conversations and who you're speaking to. And you can ask it questions. Who am I talking to? It's a practice, and this is spiritual development work, but it's your clairaudient. When it gets really loud, you can ask to turn it down, or you can imagine a dial on the side of your head and just be like, I'm turning this down. It's not about drowning it out, because it's just going to get worse and worse. But again, going out into nature, getting your hands in the dirt and connected to the earth is going to help quiet your mind. Going for a walk in nature, going for a drive, things that keep your ego busy and help keep you present in your body, not in your head, is going to create clarity and make things move a little bit smoother. I feel like over the next 6 months or so, you're going to have the most development in this, and it will be super helpful for you. You're still going to need practice and you're not going to know everything, but it's going to get better and better and better. I would not be surprised if you feel called in time to do mediumship work, or to channel, or to even write, connecting to those streams of consciousness that are coming through, bringing it through your heart and expressing it. So there is some big shifts and changes for you on the horizon. Do you have any questions about any of that, my love? It's a lot of information, I know. And you guys, this will be up on YouTube within 24 hours. I'm still trying to get yesterday's up. It takes forever to download. So within 24 to 48 hours, these lives will be uploaded into YouTube. So if you follow me there, and I will date the live so you'll know it's today's or yesterday's. I still have a spinny wheel of death on yesterday's download trying. But please drink some lemon water today, Charlene, because we did a lot of clearing on you today. I never know my eyesight. I never now and then see the vision of my friend's son that was murdered coming to me. What does he want? Oh, every now and then. Well, one, he's just showing you that he's there. And when you're able to start communicating with him, he'll have more information for you. But again, remember I said, in the future, I feel like you're going to be doing mediumship or channeling. He's coming to you to let you know, to pass on the message that he's okay, that he's still alive. He just doesn't have a physical body anymore. We don't die. We just lose our physical form. And here's something that is hard for people to hear, but nobody's life is ever taken from them. When we are murdered or die in a freak accident, our life was not taken. We have an end date that we have chosen before we incarnated, and then we have off-ramps. And when someone chooses to take an off-ramp, they're going to exit through the path of least resistance. So if that's a murder, if that's a freak accident on the freeway, if that's a freak illness or infection that takes their life, that was them choosing the path of least resistance and taking an off-ramp. They had completed what they felt like they needed to complete. And sometimes their exit triggers something in someone that was meant to trigger something in someone for healing, right? It's not easy to understand from the human psyche, but I think it's just so that your friend knows that her son is okay. And again, when you start to hone in on your abilities, and then you will be able to communicate more easily with those who are, because you're going to get more. There's going to be more people who come to you. I'm not sure. I'm not doing I don't want to go, I have to drop my frequency to do more mediumship. I don't want to do that. What I can tell you is it's never about justice. It's never about justice. Again, it was the path of least resistance. He chose to exit this reality. And so they never are on the other side wanting justice or karma or for someone to be caught. That's more of the human psyche that wants that. And honestly, it doesn't really matter why he did it. It was a part of the plan so that he could exit. And again, I know that's not what the humans want, but that is what is. But sometimes they know how they died, and other times they don't. But I'm not pulling him through necessarily. I just know why he's coming to you. But again, you are going to get more people who are going to come to you. So whether you choose me or somebody else, or you get a book, or you buy a course, start learning how to develop your skills. And let me tell you this, I tell everybody this, because there's a lot of spiritual teachers out here that don't do this. And why we started with boundaries with you. Before you can go out and do this work, well, before you should go out and do this work or hone into these skills, you have to develop good energetic boundaries. You have to know where you end and someone else begins. You have to learn how to read and discern the energy. This is what I am known for, because I was not told that, and it destroyed me when all my gifts opened. Destroyed me. So I am one who will preach on the hill forever and as loud as I can. That is your first stop. Develop boundaries. Learn to read and discern the energy of where you end and someone else begins, what something is. I teach this in my course, The Energy Matrix. There's other people out there that teach similar things. Find that, whoever you resonate, learn it. That's your first step. That is your foundation of which you will stand upon for everything else. Once you do that, then you can really start to open yourself up, because you're going to then be able to discern more easily who you're speaking with and what they're trying to convey to you, whether that be visual, audio, clear cognizantly, however it comes through. So these are the things that you are being guided to do, and why we started with where we started, which is boundaries and using that throat chakra. Okay? So you figure out your path moving forward for that, and then trust the process. Don't try to rush it. And don't be afraid by it, right? Always go through the heart. Always start with the heart. Perceive everything through the heart. But that's what we have for you, my love. And your mom loves you. She hears you. She sees everything. She's not missed a thing. You're very, very welcome. Okay, let me see if I have any new donations before I go back to finding yes or no's. Just to recap while I'm looking for that, for those of you who are just joining me, I am doing one for yes or no today to those who I'm called to. So if I don't answer, you don't need to post it 15 times. I will try to acknowledge you one way or another. If you would like a mini read from your guides, that is a donation of $15 or more. I prefer Cash App or Venmo, but I also have PayPal. If you do donate, please let me know where you donated and that you donated, so that I can prioritize you in the reading. And if you're struggling today, if you're going through something, if you have questions about the energy, the healing journey, any of those things, spiritual development, drop them. I will have general conversation and be here to support you at this time. And if you've never had a session with me, I had brought back my $99 offer. So if you're a first-time client and you want 60 minutes with me, it's called a Quantum Soul Session. You'll see the button under my sessions. You'll see the regular price, and then you'll see the $99, which is more than half off. So that's a first-time price. I brought that back to help people during this time because so many people are struggling. Okay, so it looks like we're good right now. So let me scroll back and see if I can answer any questions. Let's see. Where did that question go? I hate to be morbid, but what about people who take their own lives? Is that predetermined? It's not predetermined that they're going to take their own life. Here's the thing with that. This is a kind of this is a tricky situation because oftentimes when people want to unalive themselves, it's because they're going through an ego death, a version of themselves that was fragmented, that they have been feeding a lot of negative energy to, right? A piece of themselves that has a lot of beliefs, a lot of negativity that they don't want to face. The more you resist that, the bigger it gets, the more potent it gets, the heavier it gets, and it almost starts to feel like a dark entity. It's not a dark entity, it's you. It's a part of you that's filled with all the darkness that you won't look at. And when that version of you is so tired and wants that version of you to come back into the whole, to integrate back into the whole, that's what an ego death is. Ego deaths feel so real that there are times when they get misconstrued as actually wanting to leave the physical planet. And a lot of times souls don't mean to, but they do because, again, they're misinterpreting what they're going through. Then there are other times where it is the exit that they chose to take and in the form of an off-ramp. So it can be either. And it's not that they regret it, right? They may say they regret it when they're speaking to you because that's something that you're going to understand. But what they're saying is I see now what I should have done, and now I'm going to continue to evolve now that I don't have my physical body. But it's a good portion of the time they're misperceiving an ego death as actually not wanting to live. But they have to be willing to face their own darkness. They have to be willing to accept it. And the closer they get to, usually the happiest people are the ones that unalive themselves. And it's because the more they make peace with setting themselves free, the closer they get to their authentic soul, which we would call God, right? To the aspect of God that is them. And that feels so amazing. So as they're preparing, that's what they're feeling. And so they feel like, oh, if I just let go, I'm going to feel so amazing. But what they didn't realize was all they had to do was feel that pain. Because when they cross over, they have to feel that pain anyway. You have to. When you cross over, you're going to feel everything that you didn't feel here and everything that you made other people feel. Everything. So you're going to feel it one way or another. So you might as well feel it, go, this is just a sensation, and this part of me no longer wants to live. Depression, deep rest, deep repression. It's a part of you that you're holding on to that is no longer serving you. And that needs to die, aka rebirth, integrate into the whole. So that's kind of the story on that. All right, let me scroll back. Hey, love. So I asked a relationship a couple days ago was my karmic Cami. I don't understand what you're asking me. You might want to ask that again a different way. Hi, Jessica. Jessica, are you the one that bought the Energy Matrix yesterday? If you did, feel free to join my Facebook group, Multidimensional Mastery. I can email it to you if you want. That way you can reach out to me if you need help during the course. Brittany, yes, and let it go. Listen to today's podcast, Brittany. Go to Cosmic Blonde, listen to today's podcast episode. Let him go. The longer you entertain what's not for you, the longer it takes for what is meant for you to show up. Will Wallace be coming home? That's not a for sure yes or no, so there's things that are undecided. I don't Facebook. Okay, good. There's also a group on on the Podia platform. You can join that, or you can just email me. Nicole, I answered you, honey, a while ago. Yes. Maybe you weren't here. Okay, I think we're caught up. You guys have had some good questions today, though. Oh, I always forget I can make the... There we go. Now I don't have to be like straining my eyes. Hi, Rocky. It's been a long time. I'm doing good. Isha, will Joshua pursue me romantically soon? I think that maybe it will lean that way, but it feels very toxic. That does not feel like a healthy relationship. Oh, thank you. Are you asking if Cami is a karmic relationship? We have multiple karmic relationships. We don't just have one. We never just have one. So a lot of times people call this a twin flame, but anyone can be a twin flame. Anybody who's mirroring back to you what you're not willing to see within you to learn a lesson is what people call a twin flame, but that's really a karmic relationship. So yes, that's one of your karmics, but you've had many and you will have many karmic relationships. He does love you, but not in the way that you need to be loved. Go listen to today's Cosmic Blonde podcast, Patty. Go listen to today's Cosmic Blonde podcast and let him go. Julie, not yet. That clarity will come, honey. Hush it. No one's talking to you. You're right where you're supposed to be, doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing right now, Julie. I don't read other people from other people, Becky. If they're not here asking, I'm not going to tap into their energy. If it has something to do with you, I can see from your soul's perspective or your soul contract, but I don't do that. I'm not doing medical today, and pregnancy falls under medical. If If I did a mini read for you and it showed up, then yeah, same way with mediumship. If I do a mini read for you and the guides bring it through, that's a different story. But on yes or no's, I'm not doing that. What happens when I yell at my guides? They've had plenty of times when I've yelled at my guides. Nothing happens. They love me no matter what. They love you no matter what. They understand that you're struggling and that you're human. Sure, the mini reads are $15, so you can Venmo or Cash App it, but I want to tell you ahead of time so you don't waste your money. I cannot guarantee you that it's going to tell me if you're pregnant or not. So that's up to you. I don't know what's going to come through. Claudia, no, and you don't want him to. Please go listen to today's Cosmic Blonde podcast. If you're on here wanting relationship information, save yourself the trouble, go listen to today's podcast. When something ends, it ends for a reason. Do not chase them. Do not pine for them. It's not what you think. If you listen to today's podcast, it will shift a lot of things for you. Were you yelling at your guides today, Julie? The wrong thing. Hold on. Oh no. I hate when I do that. Wendy, yes. Hi, Joy. Thank you, Rocky. Just remember that it's clearing things in you, Julie. Remember that. It's clearing, right? Feeling the sick, all that you're mad about, that you want to yell about, that's purging from you. It's purging. So just let it purge. Patty, I said go listen to my Cosmic Blonde podcast, today's episode that got released. Okay, we had a Cash App come in. Jessica, did you Cash App for today? What's your question? Because I think I read you yesterday. It shows twice. Okay. What's your question, love? General, please. Okay. The energy on the right side of your head is so intense, so intense. They keep making me feel like there is something particular that you want to know. I don't know if you just we didn't talk about it yesterday, but I don't feel like there's much new that I need to report that I didn't give you already. Do you have questions about your relationship or about a relationship? What is going on? Oh my God, that's what it is. I was like, what is that noise? So when I connect to you in this moment, there's this energy in your feet, almost like magnetic. It's like pulling you. It almost feels like energy pulling you down into the earth, pulling your body into your your energy into your body, I should say. Like you tend to come out of your body. So I just feel like this energy trying to pull you and keep you down into your body. There's so much that's clearing inside of you, and it's running all the way down the whole side of my body. So it's the whole right side of your body, and your right side of your body is your masculine side, is the space of action. So I feel like this is shifting for you, but I feel like there was a lack of forward movement, lack of forward, like taking action. But I feel like this has recently shifted, and you're starting to take action and starting to move forward with things that is going to help you get to that next stage in your journey. But they keep bringing me back to relationships. They make me feel like there's something that you aren't addressing in that department, but they're being very vague, which it always is annoying to me. I've been working on grounding. Yes, I felt stuck. Okay. How to navigate quantum in my best friend. I'm my best friend and I have been different. You and your best friend have been different. You and your best friend you're struggling in that relationship, yes? Well, I feel like you're coming unstuck, as we just said. I feel like there's things that you've recently done that's going to start to shift and propel you forward. I feel like you just being in the energy matrix alone is going to be helpful because you're going to have all of these aha moments. And again, I think we talked about this yesterday, but working in the quantum is really about you working with that energy, and you took the steps, right? So you got that program, and you're going to start working in quantum energy. You're going to be introduced to a lot of frequencies, and those are going to be super helpful for you. When you're struggling with navigating relationships, as you start to live more in a quantum state of being, what you need to realize is that we are all multidimensional beings. There's different versions of us that we are moving in and out of at a continuous rate right now. We are shifting timelines hundreds of times a day. And every time we shift a timeline a little bit, we're shifting into a different version of ourselves. Most of the time, those versions of ourselves are so slightly different that we don't notice the shifts. And then there's other days where we wake up and we feel like a completely different person. Or we meet or run into or communicate with somebody, and we are communicating with a different version of them, someone that they need to step into for that day. Meaning that there's going to be these moments where each of us is going to step into a different version of ourselves that needs to be the ruling energy, so that we can see, hear, and face whatever's showing up, whatever pattern, whatever belief, so that we can choose differently. Oftentimes, it's not just having the wide perspective, it's that we actually have to take on that version of us. So we take on an inner child, we take on an ego personality, we take on another version of us from a different timeline or reality. That energy gets brought to the surface, and it's almost like something takes over us and we act out of character, or we're feeling off or not ourselves. That's happening for a reason. There's something that needs to be seen, felt, experienced viscerally that will help you go, oh, hey, boom, there it is. This is something I don't want. This is something I don't want to experience. Or that person may be mirroring back something to you. So it's about having grace and compassion, but also know that we're all shifting and moving so dramatically fast right now, that sometimes you just need to wait a couple of days, and other times you have to realize that in friendships or any kind of relationship, we come together for a reason, a season, and a lifetime, and maybe your season is done. I don't feel like that's the case, but I feel like that you guys are shifting at different rates. And so there may be a pullback for a little while. There may not be a resonant match anymore in the way that you guys feel when you talk to each other, communicate, hang out, but that will shift and change. It will. You will realign. And so try not to take things too personally. Try to allow space for people to, including yourself, to move through the dimensions and versions of themselves. Because you're seeing things, you're healing things, and you're learning how to master your multidimensionality. We're all learning how to master our multidimensionality right now. We're all learning how to take different aspects from different versions of ourselves. It's called grafting. I'm going to keep this, I'm going to let that go. I'm going to take this, I'm going to let that go. I'm going to take this, and it's like you're building this totem of energy. It's a facade to think we ever know who we truly are, or who anyone is, because we're constantly evolving and changing, and we have to allow for that space and growth to occur. You have to trust yourself more than anything. So in that, you have to trust yourself more than anything. So, you know, when you're saying you can't trust her, what you're doing is you're probably communicating with a different version of her. That's all. And so you have to be super discerning of, okay, this isn't the version of her that I know. So either I need to get to know this version, or I need to trust myself that what I need to tell her or what I need to do is, this isn't the right time, this isn't the right moment. I've gone through this with my own best friend. where we kind of go through these things where I pull back, and for a month or two, there's a lot of things I don't share with her. And then we come back into alignment, and then I feel that resonant match again. And I'm like, okay, now she's back, or now I'm back. And she has felt the same way with me. So again, I don't feel like this is the end of your season. I feel like there's just this shifting and changing that's constantly happening. Is she where you are spiritually and energetically? Because I feel like she's not. Oh, you got it. Okay, the light bulb went on. Yeah. That's going to create its own changes, its own limitations. But here's the thing. This year, that's going to change everything for a lot of people, because they're going to go through their own awakening, and they're going to start to have their own experiences. But awakenings rarely open up to love and light and bliss. Most awakenings start with vomiting out all the darkness and density that they haven't faced, and it can be a rough time. So just remember that. You know, I feel like she's going to go through some things, and she needs to have that space to go through them, and then she'll start to have her own awarenesses and her own understandings of things. But you guys will come back together, and she will start to understand you better. But you're just not in the right alignment at the moment. You know, you're just not there, and that's okay. I have lots of friends who don't do what I do, who don't even understand what I do. But what I have done is not, I've never pushed it upon them. And I just wait for them to come to me, and I connect to them on other things. And what I've witnessed happen is, over the years, is they've slowly opened up on their own, and then now they'll come to me and ask questions. But my job isn't to teach them. My job isn't to force my perspective on them and how I see the world. It's just to love them with where they are and who they are in this moment. And if we don't have anything to connect on, then there's nothing to connect on, right? So I feel like that's not the case with you. But this is what they were trying to get to, because they kept being elusive about relationships. There was a relationship that I could feel that needed some clarity. So I'm really glad that they nudged it that way for you. Thank you, Healing Mama. You're so welcome. Hold on. They are telling me that you are going to develop and new friendships, new community that are like you, and some who are maybe even more advanced than you. But you are going to find a new tribe, and it's not that it's going to take away from that relationship, but it's going to give you another outlet for where you are and what you're experiencing, because you need that. That's what you need. You need to be around people who are like-minded and who understand the process of ascending and evolving and developing and doing all of those things, and the things that come with that can make us feel crazy at times. So that's something that's going to develop and grow for you this year. So they wanted me to tell you that, because we don't want you to feel like you're alone, and we don't want you to put all that weight onto her when she doesn't understand. And I feel like that's the thing. Like you're wanting someone to have your back and be in your corner and have someone to talk to, and she's not the right one to do that for this moment in time. So that's what we have for you, my love. I do take PayPal for mini reads. You can just if you double click on my photo, it will take you to my profile, and you can click the link. You'll see tip jar. There's Venmo, Cash App, and PayPal in there. If you do donate, please let me know that you donated. Make sure it has your full first and last name to your thing. You're very welcome. And I'm excited for you, because you have so much good coming for you. Okay, let me scroll back. Let me check and see if I have any other donations really quick, and then I'll go back to the yes or no's. Okay, guys? Give me just a moment, please. And once again, if you've never had a session with me and you want a full 60 minutes with me, I have brought back my $99 first time client quantum soul session, so you can find that under sessions as well. If that's something that speaks to you. Okay, we got a Venmo. Jennifer. Just check everywhere else real fast. Nicole, will Isaac reach out to me in the next few days? Yes. Is Michael lying about having a wife? He's not here asking, but from your perspective, he's not somebody you should be with, so I would walk away. JJ, is my son Stephen okay? Yes, he's walking his path. Let him walk his path. He will come back in his own time. Jennifer, do you want a general read or do you have a specific question? Should I keep modeling? Yes, if you enjoy it. I feel like there's something missing for you. That's why you're questioning it. I think you're looking for something more fulfilling. Let's start with the general read, and then maybe it will answer your question. Then we'll go from there. Does that sound good, Jennifer? You're asking me, Aline, you're asking me to tap into someone else's energy that's not here, so that's why I haven't answered it. So Jennifer, that's what, if you're okay with that, that's what we'll do, is I'll start with a general read, and then if I don't answer your question, we'll take it from there. Is that all right? I'm gonna tap into you. Okay. I'm going to clear your energy. Jennifer, I want to start with just what I'm feeling inside of you. So there is a lot of stress and tension in your jaw. It's a mixture of like stress, gosh, but it almost feels like resistance too. Like there's something that you just don't want to experience or something you don't want to happen. So you don't want to think about it, you don't want to feel it, you don't want to look at it, you don't want to deal with it, and it's like it's getting louder in the head, it's getting stronger in the jaw. It's like it's causing all of this disruption inside of you. And so whatever that is, you've got to address it head on. You've got to look at it. You got to be willing to feel it. And I honestly feel like some of it is not even meant for you to worry about or deal with, but it's like you have this rumination or this, honestly, I resonate with it because it's like we create these narratives and these stories out of the ethers, out of nothing, about a single worry. It's like you create the worst case scenarios in your mind, but you can also create the best case scenario as well. So you got to practice letting go and releasing the jaw. So put your fingers right here, and we cleared some of it when I was clearing your energy. We'll probably clear more. Just find the little hole right here and just massage it, and you'll feel that tension and that tightness, and really allow for that energy to release, and start to ask yourself what you're afraid of. What are you afraid of feeling? What are you afraid of looking at? Whatever the worry is, what happens if that happens? What does it mean about me? What am I afraid is going to happen in my reality? Like, really get curious and start to dive deep into what's coming up for you in that aspect. I feel like there's a lot of shifts and changes going on in your life, or will be going on if they're not currently, that are ahead for you. And they're saying it's redirection, it's redirection, it's redirection. Like, just go with the flow. I know it's not always comfortable. You don't always know what's around the next corner. But if you let go and you just flow and you trust that process, it's going to be much easier experience for you. Waves of Wellness, hello. There's more clearing. Please drink lemon water today. If I clear for you, please drink lemon water. Your intuition and your spidey senses have definitely been heightened, and they will continue to get heightened. And you've been getting intuitive guidance, nudges, downloads is what I call them. You've been getting these insights, and sometimes you get it and you're like, huh, but I don't think you're getting them all, and I think you're discounting some of them. So when you get these kinds of aha moments or intuitive guidances, when they come in, they usually feel like incomplete sentences. They kind of pop in out of nowhere. Or maybe sometimes we call them light bulb moments, where we just get this random thought out of nowhere. Write them down, because you will forget it. It's not yours. You're not creating it. You're receiving it. And when you're receiving information, like when I'm channeling, I'm receiving information, it moves through me. It's like I always refer to it as a cloud. Like, if you access the cloud, or you see like one of those tickers that stream, it's going by and I'm receiving it, it's moving through me, it doesn't stay. And so if I don't write it down in that moment or speak it out loud to whoever I'm speaking it to, I'm not going to be able to pull it back up again. So the same thing comes with you. These little things are going to come in. These little moments are going to come in. And those are breadcrumbs. That's what I call them. I call them breadcrumbs. Spirit never is going to give you the whole map, the whole picture all at once. They're going to give you little nuggets. And those are like the staircase. You take one at a time. And you may need 5 nuggets before anything makes any damn sense. But this is why they're really wanting you to pay attention to being present in what's popping in and out of your mind, or those feelings that you get. But you're definitely receiving guidance and information. Electra, I see you. And so pay attention to those and write them down. And don't worry about where it's coming from. Don't overanalyze it. Just take notes. Make a little note file on your phone and call it breadcrumbs or intuitive guidance or aha moments, and just start writing them down. They make me feel like in this year, over the next 6 to 9 months, these are going to be some big shifts for you, and things will start to make more sense as you move along. So just start recording all of those things. I keep feeling like something big is coming for you. Something big is coming for you. Don't be afraid of it. And I think you feel that. I feel like you feel this big thing coming towards you, and it's scaring the shit out of you. It feels like uncertainty because your ego's like, I can feel something coming, but we don't know what it is. We need to know what it is. Let's prepare for the worst. And it's not. So just know something big is coming and choose to be like, whatever's coming is for me. So it's whatever it is for me. That's a good thing. I'm in the middle of a paid read, so please do not blow up my feed with the same question. Okay, Jennifer, where are you with me? Do you have any questions about anything so far? Did your question get answered? Do you want to pop that question in now, and we can steer from there? Just drop your question if I didn't answer it with what we're here. Tell me if you have any questions about what we've already said, or just drop the question that you have. No. Wasn't even anywhere. That's probably why they didn't address it. No. Your time is done. He's not the right one. And you're going to go through this big evolution, and it wouldn't be a match anyway if you did. It wouldn't be a match if you did, because you're about to go through an evolution, a shift. Wendy, I answered you several times, honey. I said yes. So you're about to go through an evolution and a shift, and you would no longer be a resonant match together anyway. Do you have any questions about anything else that we said? You're very welcome. I don't know if you resonate with anything that I said, with everything that you're feeling, but I hope that it helps you, because if you're not feeling it in this moment, you're about to. So I hope that you were able to receive that and that it benefits you moving forward. Electra. Donna, I actually feel like yes right now, but I think you're going to move into a different department. I feel like you're going to move into a different area. Jessica, you're always right where you need to be. But there will be some shifts coming for you. Cheryl, no. Okay, Electra is the next paid read. Electra, do you have a specific question or do you want a general? Okay, guys, I gotta prioritize my donators. Why did life lead me down this path, and are things going to get better soon? Well, this was the path that you designed. There was many paths that you could have taken to learn and heal the lessons that you chose to. That is your free will. Many roads lead to the same destination. Your choices, your actions, or lack thereof narrow those paths down. Your current reality is based upon your past beliefs of what you assume yourself to be. And then we mirror that back to you so that you can see and choose differently. You think you're not in control. You think that life is happening to you. But your beliefs are the engine that drives you. Wherever you are now is merely a construct of what you have past assumed. So if you want to change the path you take and how you experience that path, you have to get clear on what you would need to believe for that to be, and then begin to embody those beliefs. Humans often think that it is hard to release beliefs or to change them, but that in itself is a belief and a story that you have been programmed with. What if it was just easy to let it go? What if you could see that at any moment you can change the version of you? You can choose to be someone who is free of that conditioning. Whatever it is that you want to experience, you have to ask yourself, what would I have to believe for that to be true? And that's where the work lies for you. It's been a while since they've kind of taken me over like that to answer somebody. You are in control of how quickly things shift for you. I always tell people the law of assumption is the best law there is, because you have to be delusional, if you will. And that's what I did last year. And I manifested everything that I wanted in my reality very, very quickly, because I chose to do that. I chose to reprogram. I chose to use the law of assumption. I chose. There's a program I have. I don't know if I have it, a link of it live. You can always message me on here or email me and I can get you a link. It's called the Recalibration Experience. And you can learn to recalibrate yourself and do the very thing that I did that shifted my trajectory completely. But whatever you were experiencing, it was happening for you to choose differently. It wasn't to punish you. You're not doing anything wrong. You're just stuck in some old beliefs and some old patterns that aren't serving you. And your reality is reflecting that back to you. And once you acknowledge that and choose to change it, that's when things are going to change in the external. that make sense for you? While I'm waiting for Electra to answer, Electra, I'm going to tap into your body. You have lots of people speaking to you all the time. You have 3 pretty consistent guides that are around you. 2 feel younger in nature. They feel they've had human lives. 1 feels a little bit more indigenous in nature, more like an ancestor, if you will. Like I know, stop, okay. I hear you, okay. I would love for you to listen to a shamanic drum beat. I would like for you to sit and meditate to a shamanic drum for as long as you can sit. I'm not talking hours, but I don't know if you meditate regularly now. If you don't, start with 15 minutes or 20 minutes and work your way up. Try to get up to like 30 or 45 minutes and do it as a consistent practice. They're saying the drum beat is going to put you in a hypnotic theta state and is going to help you see things differently. It's going to open your pathways up and bring you clarity. It's also going to connect you into that and that connect you with that indigenous guide. It feels very shamanic in nature, but all drum beats do for me. It's not that that's what it is, but there's something in that realm for you. And this is going to help open you up to that. If you ask a question from me more than a couple of times, I will delete you. I am working with somebody at the moment. Please have a little bit of respect for that. Thank you. So I hope that helps, Electra. But the indigenous ancestral guide, that's the one that is really wanting to work with you. And I feel like you connecting with that drum beat and sitting in that is really going to be beneficial for you. I got you, Wendy. So I hope that helps, my love. Wendy, I need your last name, hun. No, you know, it's funny. That's what my guides are talking about. That's what my default, I don't call it the medical medium in me, call it just because I'm a physical medium. I always go to my body. Every time I tried to go to your body, they shut me down and they just said, that's right. I knew you. They were laughing at me. They're like, you don't need to do that with her. So I said, fine. Because I kept trying to and they just kept talking to me. So there's nothing in your body that I needed to worry about apparently or connect to. What you needed to hear came through very clairaudiently. That's why I just closed my eyes and let it speak through me. But I was trying to connect to your body again and they were like, what are you doing? And it was funny. So anyway, okay. But yeah, just go to YouTube, search for shamanic drum beat, something that's low, as no words, just the drum beat, and give that a try. You're very welcome. Okay, Wendy's next. Wendy, do you have a question or do you want a general? And while I'm waiting for that, I'm gonna, Sarah, no. Go listen to my podcast from today's episode. That will help you. Will my pain go away? Find someone who does magnetic. I don't know what they're trying to tell me. It's some kind of magnetic thing that will help with your pain. That, and get some copper. Get some copper. General, okay. All right, so I'm gonna do a paid read, you guys. So if you guys can hold the space for that, I would appreciate it. Wendy, you're holding back on something. I don't know what you're holding back on, but you're holding back on something. There's a new opportunity coming for you in the next 3 months. I don't know when in that next 3 months, but I keep hearing 3 months, 3 months. So I feel like it could be in 3 months, or it could be within the 3 months. Everything can always happen sooner, depending on you. But there's something within you you've been holding back on. I feel like you're holding yourself back. Yes, okay, thank you. That's more clear. I'm gonna clear some of your energy. You're holding yourself back. It's like you're dimming your light. You're not seeing your full potential. You're not putting yourself out there. You're not showcasing your true authentic self. Like you're really almost like diluting yourself a little bit. And I'm not sure why you're doing that, or if you're even conscious that you're doing that, but you're holding yourself back. So you need to kind of open the windows and the doors and just be wide open, be authentic, be too much, be whatever it is that you are. Be all of it. Do not try to change or adjust or be a chameleon or be what somebody wants you to be. You need to be you. So who are you authentically? And I always tell people the best way to figure this out is, who are you when you're driving? When you're driving by yourself, who are you? How do you act? How do you think? How do you feel? That's how you need to be all the time. So really tune into where you are dimming your light, or where you're adjusting yourself or trying to be something that you're not. I also feel like the opportunities that you've been trying to get are not aligned for you anymore. So there's something new that's coming, but when that new thing comes, I feel like you're going to discount it, or you're not going to grab onto it, and that is what I don't want for you. So if something comes your way that's kind of out of the box, or something that's a little bit not something you would normally do, or maybe you don't believe in yourself enough to do it, that's the opportunity that's for you. That's the opportunity that's for you, okay? So I want you to hear me when I say that. In the meantime, you need to work on being authentic, being who you truly are, really just letting your freak flag fly. Try some new things, put yourself out there. It's like we want to jumpstart you. We want to jumpstart you. But there's something you're afraid of, and that's the other part of the holding back. It's like you're afraid of judgment or rejection, or maybe both, which is very common. It's a human thing, right? But comparison is the thief of joy, and anybody who's judging you, whatever they're judging, they're also judging within themselves. So when somebody judges you, you can say, oh, that's what they judge in themselves. Or maybe they're judging you because they wish they could be that or do that, right? So you have to remember that and not take anything so seriously or personally. This is all an illusion. This is all a game. Play it like it is. Play it like it's a game. Think about this. You know, we think about the movie The Truman Show, or if you're watching your favorite TV show. What if someone was watching you right now? Are you doing what you would want them to see you doing? Are you doing all the things that you know you should be or could be doing for yourself? That's the real question to ask for anybody who's listening, honestly. If somebody was watching you, like you watch your favorite TV show, are you doing what you know you're capable of doing? Or would you be yelling at the TV if you were you, going, do this, do that? I want you to think about it from that perspective. That's how they want you to see yourself, because I feel like you're having a hard time seeing yourself. And so you're looking everywhere outside of you for that reflection. So if you can think about it from the perspective, if someone was watching me right now, what would I be doing? If I was watching me right now, what would I be telling myself to do? and then do that. It's not necessarily just spiritual things like you should be meditating more or you should be doing this. There's things that you know that you are being called to do or you feel like you should be doing and you're just not doing them. And I think part of it is there's a little bit of apathy there. You got to remember that a lot of us have moved into the new earth frequencies, and as we did, we feel apathetic. It's like we want to do things, but we have no motivation or desire or concern to do them, but we desperately want our reality to change. So we're in this little conundrum of energy where it's like, I know what I need to do, but I just don't have the energy to muster to do it. And so if that's what you're feeling, then you have to honor that space and you have to take small steps. So I went through that and I still had to show up for myself. I just did it with a little bit more patience, a little slower, a little bit more grace. But you have to start making steps because action is what it's going to take to move you forward. But know that if you're tired, if you feel apathetic, meaning you have really no concern, you want something to change, but you don't have the concern enough to do it, if you're feeling your body pains, if you're feeling those types of things, you are being asked to let go of all of the beliefs and programming, all of the things that are weighing you down. The moment you hit the new earth frequencies, you can't take your baggage with you. You get frozen, you get stalled. They stop you and they say you can't move forward until you drop the baggage, until you let it go, until you accept yourself in all your forms. And that's all you have to do. That's all letting go is acceptance. Isn't that ironic? You don't think that letting go is acceptance. But if you just accept what is, if you just accept who you are, then guess what? You're letting go of everything that you are not. So can you just do that? Because everything's going to shift and change if you can. And the moment you do that, the moment all your energy is going to return. It's that simple. And that's what they're wanting you to do. But also there are things that you are being called to do that you're not doing. And it's almost like we want you to get a schedule or a regimen or some type of daily structure that helps you. If you didn't take the recalibration experience, that would be a good program for you if you're looking for something to help you. Of course, it's not necessary. I'm giving you as much guidance and advice as I can, but that would be a structure that would help you. I will eventually, today when I get done with this, I will put it on my digital course page. So if you want to check back tomorrow, anybody who's interested in that, I'm going to put it on my digital course page because it's not there right now, but I will put it up. But again, it's not something you have to do. I'm just something there if it calls to you. But create a structure for your day, something you do in the morning, something you do in the afternoon. When I was trying to rebuild my business, I didn't have the clients yet. So this is what I did. I'm going to give you a life. I think this is actually in the course too. But I said, I'm going to spend 2 hours a day working the way I would if I had 2 clients that day. So those 2 hours I either did content creation, I wrote in my book, I did research, I created, I updated my website, I did things. So you create a schedule, right? I wake up, I meditate, I journal, I work out. Those are things I do every day. Pick some small things that you can create some type of loose structure around that help your body feel safe enough to let go and to make you feel like you're being productive. And that's going to help you. This will help you create motivation that's not there, in a sense, if that helps. But that's the biggest. If you can really hear us when we say this, and again, this live will be up by tomorrow sometime on YouTube. Go back and listen to it again. I really want you to listen to what they said. And I want you to put that into implementation because there is something coming for you. And you got to be ready for it. And you have to be willing to take it. And I feel like there's a little bit of work you got to do to prepare for that. But it isn't something that you've normally done. It feels a little bit out of the box for you. So something to keep in mind. But things are going to get better. They are going to get better. You're going to get better. You're going to feel better. And that's what you need to know. Do you have any questions about that, Wendy? You're very welcome. Okay. Heather Hansen. She's the next paid read. Do you have a question, Heather, or do you... Waves of Wellness, that's Heather, right? That's you, Heather? I never can remember people's handles. Let me know if you want a general or if you have a specific question. I'm gonna scroll back real quick. Zara, I don't know if it's the job you want, but you are going to have a job this summer. You will be getting a job this summer. Liz, I actually feel like you guys are gonna elope. Sweet and sassy. I knew it. I was like, that makes more sense. You're welcome, Liz. Okay, we're gonna do a general. Oh, wait, you didn't even say. Did you want a general? Okay, career. I was like just assuming you wanted a general. Okay. All right, guys, I'm gonna do a paid read for Heather. Let me take a drink. Ooh, I smell something. Trying too hard. I'm gonna back it off so I can smell it again. Because as soon as I connected to you, I started smelling it. I know I've read for you many times, Heather, but I don't remember any of it. So if I'm repeating myself in any way, I'm so sorry. It's just I got to bring through what I get, what I feel, and let it go where it goes. Obviously, you're a healer. I get my symbol for a healer, but I need to ask you because I'm feeling retreats. Are you going to be doing retreats, or do you want to do retreats? Because I feel like retreats. I'm also seeing like almost like shamanic vibes. So fire circles, drum circles. I'm smelling smoke. I feel like there's healing work that will be done with the smoke. I'm feeling herbs, herbal medicine, maybe even going into plant medicine. Community, property. Like I feel like, I don't know if you're looking to buy property, but I feel like there's a property purchase coming for you in sometime in the next year. I feel like there's going to be an opportunity. I don't feel like I'm necessarily, it might not be on your radar right now, but we're about to go into a recession. Recessions are where billionaires are created, and property prices, home prices, those types of things tend to come down. I feel like you're going to end up finding some kind of property that's going to drop in your lap or show up, and it's going to be too good to pass up. I feel like this is all a part of the plan. I feel like this gives me retreat vibes. I feel like you'll even build something on it. Like eventually it will develop into more than that, you know, where you'll have different therapies and different offerings. This is definitely something that's a destined part of your path. Wellness in general, big on frequency and herbal, yes. I think it's going to grow well beyond that, though. That's what I'm saying. I think these opportunities are going to start to show themselves, and it's going to open doors that you didn't know were there. And so you have a lot of new things are going to be coming for you, but don't they're very clear on this. Do not get ahead of yourself. Wait for those moments when these things show up. You will know. And when they do, jump. It's showing up for a reason. Don't second guess it because you feel like, oh, that's not part of this. If it's showing up for you and if you feel it, you're going to have a feeling, you're going to know, that's when you jump. And if you don't, you're like, oh, I don't know how I'm going to do this. Just ask for the way to appear and it will show up. No, but you're not going to be there for long. I feel like within the next year, you won't be having a regular job at all. I feel like this is a temporary thing. So stack money, pay things off, put yourself in a good position for investments into yourself, into your business, because there's going to be opportunities that are going to be coming. So I feel like you took that because it's money and it's setting you up for something that's coming. And you'll know the right time because you'll just naturally let go of your job when it's time. So again, that's why it's like, don't overthink things, don't rush things, don't get ahead of yourself. You're always right where you need to be. And you didn't take yourself off your path, you're preparing for your path. Do you understand the difference? I do, King, I do offer in-depth services. So you can go to my website, you can go under sessions. If you've never had a session with me, there is a first-time client rate, and you can see all the different types of offerings. Good, I'm glad, because that's what you were really worried about, right? Was that you knocked yourself off your path, that you took a 3D muggle normie job, and now you're walking away from everything else. You're not, you're preparing. The other stuff isn't going anywhere. You're still doing it. You're still doing it. But that's why they wanted you to know what was coming, because when the land and home prices and building prices drop, I feel like something's naturally going to align and you're going to be like, this is too good to pass up and I'm going to make it happen, and you're going to take it and you're going to be able to get it because of this setup. So what we often think is a setback is more a setup. So you're being set up. So be excited about that, but be very smart with your finances. Find ways to invest it, to grow it, get a high yield savings account, do things that will help you grow your money. They're also making me feel like there's some other new opportunity or side opportunity that maybe recently presented itself that you could make commission off of or affiliate off of or something like that. There's something in that nature is either around you or you just took it up or is about to. When that happens, it's something that might take a little bit of setup initially, but that's going to be income producing as well. Again, another thing that's going to help feed the bigger thing that's coming. So whatever that is, and I'm not sure, I'm trying to interpret it the best that I can. There's some type of affiliate or commission-based, think about like TikTok Shop, right? It's something like that. It could be Etsy, it could be TikTok, it could be something else, but it's something that's showing up for you, and it's something that might take a couple of days of initial setup and work, but then it will pretty much be an automatic thing. Could be. It just feels like initially it's a little bit of work in the beginning, but then after that it's very automatic. It's something that isn't going to be difficult to manage, but it's something that is going to produce extra income. And again, these other income sources and this increase in position change in your job, things like that, those are there to help you, but you got to manage your money real well at this time. You want to kind of stack some aside because again, that thing's coming for you. So I'm excited for you. I feel like, again, just following the steps. Once each thing happens, the next thing will start to come in and you will have more ideas and the expansion will take place and everything will fall in alignment. Try not to do too much at once. Try not to get too ahead of yourself. Just follow the flow. You've been doing great. You've been doing it. Just keep doing it and trust. Trust. Okay? Do you have any questions about that? It feels very exciting. It feels very exciting. Okay. All right, so that's perfect. Great. I'm so glad that that resonates for you. All right, so I could do maybe one more mini read. I'm going to look back as I do. Just a couple of reminders. If you are interested in the recalibration experience, I mentioned it for a few people. I will have that up by tomorrow if you want to check back tomorrow. If you've never had a session with me and you'd like 60 minutes with me, even if you have, you can still book, but if you've never had a session with me, I did bring back my $99 first time client offer. Look for that under sessions, under Quantum Soul Sessions. And then I will also be back on tomorrow at some point. I do have a private mentor student tomorrow. So I may be later and it may not be as long, but I'm trying to show up every day. As much as I can, again, because I have spent like a month and a half not being on here. Should I forget about Paul? Yes. Move on. Find your worth. Will Mike come back to me? No. Let him go. You're so welcome. So welcome. And anybody who had a read today or just liked some of the guidance, you can go on YouTube tomorrow and it will be up. Yesterday's is uploading to YouTube right now. It's got 9 minutes left. So if you had a read yesterday's video from TikTok will be up there. It's under the TikTok playlist. That way you guys can go back and listen. And you can have your reading stored. Sonia, will I be able to start medical residency this year? Yes. I feel like it'll be later in the year though. Celestina, that's an interesting name. I like it. Your answer is no. Jennifer, does Sang want a relation with me? It feels wishy-washy. It feels wishy-washy. Okay, Nurse Kemi, just let me know once you've donated and you will be the last read. Brittany, yes. Brian, I think there's some things that need to shift and change inside of you before that aligns, but it feels more towards the end of the year. Excuse me, I'm clearing a bunch of energy right now. Meryl, do I have psychic abilities? Yes, everybody has extrasensory abilities. I have special sessions actually dedicated to what your gifts are, what your mission is under my sessions. So if you want to go in deep as to what your gifts are and what you're here to do, there's an actual specific session for that. Okay, Akemi, I need your full name. So is Akemi your first name? If it is, I need your last name, hon. And then I need to know if you have a specific question or if you want a general. And I hope I'm not saying your name wrong. Hema777, I have not seen your question. Kemi, okay, thank you. Just general, okay. Okay, guys, I'm gonna hold all free yes or no's so I can focus on this paid read real fast, and then I'll answer a couple more yes or no's before I close out for the day. Akemi, please drink lemon water today. You're very clairaudient. That is opening up for you. You might feel pressure in your ears. You might feel like your ears are clogged. You might feel piercing or crackling, or your ears might just be bothering you. Very clairaudient. This is going through, you're going through a frequency shift in addition to that. And anytime we go through a frequency shift, our ears are affected. So you kind of have a lot going on in your head range and your ears. It can be affecting your nose even, because the pressure. There's just so much pressure, and there's just a lot opening up for you. Like, I feel like your gifts are really coming online. I keep hearing the violet flame. The violet flame. That is something that is very important to your journey. It's something that's very connected to you. You're gonna utilize the violet flame. You probably see a lot of violet or purple coloring when you close your eyes. They're making me feel like your hands can even get hot, or your body can get hot. You're a transmuter, so you'll literally burn stuff off. I feel like you're the freaking flame. I feel like you're like a walking violet flame, which means you probably attract a lot of moths, for a nice way of saying it. You probably attract a lot of people who are trying to dump their shit. So energetic boundaries are going to be super important for you. They're important for everybody. You guys will hear me say that a million times, but discerning what's yours and what's not, where someone else ends and you begin, being very clear about that, having good regular boundaries too, because people will want to take advantage of you. People will want to be around you because they're going to feel better in your presence. They're going to feel better when they're around you, and that's not fair to you. So you really have to be mindful of your energy field and how to work with it. That's going to be something that's important. It's weird for me to say this because it messes with my own ego, but I feel like your healing ability is insane. Like, I feel like if you put your hands on somebody and you were very intentional about it, you could probably heal a physical ailment inside of them. I know your handle is Nurse Kimmy. Are you an actual nurse? Do you actually work as a nurse? Okay. I think it's ironic that you went into a healing field when you're a healer. But I feel like there's something, like I feel like your clients, your patients, I feel like they love you. I feel like people would request you. I feel like your energy is so safe and healing for those people. But again, you can get sick very easily if you don't learn to manage your energy. So if you're struggling in any way physically with exhaustion, besides from the normal stuff of probably working a 12-hour shift or whatever you guys work, but if you have a lot of physical ailments starting to show up in your body, that's telling you that you really need to start working with cleansing your field and being very mindful of what you're taking on, because you have such a big heart. And honestly, I feel like your problem isn't really with your patients. I feel like it's more with people in your personal life and outside of that I feel like you have better discipline and boundaries at your work than you do in your personal life. No, baby, we're gonna go for a walk in just a few minutes. I'm almost done. That's so true. They tells me that. Oh, like the people that request you and stuff. Promotion. Are you trying to get to like a head nurse position? Because I feel like that's kind of where you're headed. Like I feel like you're gonna be more of a kind of a overseer, and that's, to me, that would be like a head nurse or a manager or something like that. I feel like you're not going to be necessarily being so directly with the patients always. Oh, for a different position? Yeah, no, I feel like you're gonna be, I don't know what the position is, I just feel like you're gonna be doing some type of other thing. Like, it's not that you won't have patient interaction, but they make me feel, they keep doing this. Like, you are managing or organizing, or it feels like more of that kind of position than necessarily like one-on-one. I don't know if that makes any kind of sense. I'm doing the best to articulate what I'm seeing and interpreting it. 60 to 90 days. I feel like this is when the shift's going to take place, or when that's going to happen. So here it is. I don't think whatever you interviewed for, it's almost like it feels like they come back and say this is better suited for you, or this is another, or there's like another opportunity shows up for you. That's how it feels. It feels kind of like that. It's kind of like you slide in through the back door of something, right? It's not something that you necessarily were trying for. Like it kind of falls in your lap, or it's kind of like you slide in through the back door. But I feel like that whatever this is that you're going to be doing is a better opportunity. And it almost feels like you're going to be training people to do or be a certain way, or I feel like there's some kind of training involved, like that you're going to be doing. There's something about you. I don't know if it's your bedside manner, just the way that you do something. I don't know. There's something that's going to be bleeding over from who you are and how you operate, and that will be infused into the training that you're doing. So again, I feel like you're kind of in a higher up position because there's people underneath you that you're working with, that you're helping, that you're training, that you're cultivating. So it feels kind of like that. Sometimes it's difficult because I'm human. I can misinterpret what I'm getting, and so I have to keep asking and keep repeating the same thing until I get it a different way. And then sometimes it's like, oh, okay, now that makes sense. So we have to remember that. So I do my best, not perfect. But I really feel with you, a couple of years from now, maybe, it feels a little down the road. Timing is always tricky. You're really going to start to recognize and develop the power of your ability to heal. And when I mean that, it's energetic healing. It's the power that you have within you. And they make me feel like, again, like you're a walking transmuter, and it doesn't necessarily affect you when you're very conscious of what you're doing. When you're unconscious of it, then that's when it affects your body. But when you're very intentional and conscious about what you're trying to heal in somebody, it's like it's a miracle almost. And this is something that is going to develop. I think it's going to start to happen accidentally, and you're going to start to get curious, and it's going to develop naturally, and then you're going to start to get help with it. So this feels a little bit down the line still, but you're right where you need to be. So I hope that helps. Do you have any questions about that? But I'm really enthralled with your gift because it feels very powerful. Oh, thank you. Yay. Appreciate that. Okay. Tracy, go listen to today's podcast on Cosmic Blonde. Anybody who's asking about relationships, go listen to Cosmic Blonde. Go listen to any of the relationship episodes on Cosmic Blonde, but especially the one that I just did. To answer your question, will my ex Steve come back to me? You don't want him to. I know you think you do, but you don't. He's not good for you. You guys are not good for each other. Heather, I feel like towards the end of the year is when that would come in for you. Will I have another baby? I actually think that you will. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a girl. Will I get permanent disability this year? I don't get a clear yes or no on that. I feel like there's so many shifts and changes happening within the government that's why I'm not getting that solid thing, but don't give up. Be your own advocate. It's not easy to get permanent disability. Brooke, will James and I ever be a couple now? I don't feel like you guys are a good match. Is Chad thinking about seeing me this weekend? I think he seems a little, it feels like he's a little timid. You might have to be the one who initiates with that one. Amanda, yes. Oh gosh, okay, it's time for me to get off. Oh, do not put that in your mouth. Do not put that in your mouth. Eating the crystal. Look at that. I broke my crystal. Oh no. Nicole, will Brian choose me? Choose yourself. Please, Nicole, please, 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 please go listen to the last Cosmic Blonde episode. Please. I beg of you. I beg of you. Okay. Okay, so here's the deal. This will be up on YouTube by tomorrow sometime. The one from yesterday's live is just about complete on the upload. They just take forever because they're long videos. I will be back on sometime tomorrow. So if I didn't answer your question, just put me on notification and you can see when I go live. I cannot give you an exact time because I have editing to do on my book and I have a private mentor student. So I haven't figured out my timing just yet, but I will be on tomorrow, okay? So thank you guys all, and everybody that allowed me to read for you. I appreciate you. I send you lots of love, and everybody who was on here today, I hope you have an amazing day, and I will see you next